What's up and welcome to another episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. Today we're going to talk about the ROG Phone versus the Galaxy S9 Plus. Without further ado, let's hop right into this comparison. It's going to be freaking epic. Let's get started. Haven't heard of the ROG Phone, it's from Asus. ROG stands for Republic of Gamers, and yes, this is a gaming cell phone. This is a direct competitor to the Razer phone, which I will also be doing a comparison of the ROG Phone versus the Razer phone. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe, and I am giving away an iPhone 10 for the month of June. Link in the top comment down below, and I will update that top comment with whatever giveaway I am currently doing. Now, the ROG Phone is special for a number of reasons. First of all, it has a 90 Hz refresh rate OLED panel. It's got an overclocked processor with 3D vapor chamber cooling, and it has vents and an attachable fan to help cool that overclocked processor for those extended gaming sessions. There's some people out there that doubt it will succeed, but I think that this will hit the sweet spot for a lot of people depending on how much it costs. Now, as far as design goes, the ROG Phone has an extremely gamer-focused design, from the gold splashes on the top and bottom of the minimal bezel display to the RGB customizable logo on the back, to the fan vents that allow for additional cooling for extended gaming sessions, to the funky elongated fingerprint sensor, to the futuristic lines covering the device. It takes more than one design cue from the ROG gaming laptop lineup, and there's nothing subtle about it. The Galaxy S9, on the other hand, has a curved edge display, beautifully rounded edges, and glass on the front and back. Both phones have a headphone jack. Both phones are beautifully designed in their own way, but I don't think very many people are going to be taking the ROG Phone into a business meeting. Now, both phones have minimal bezels with no notch. I actually don't hate the notch. I'm kind of in the middle ground where it can have it or doesn't have it, and that's because the new Android software does a really good job handling phones with notches. The OnePlus 6 and the Huawei P20 Pro both did great, and they have notches. I really like those phones. Now, the S9 Plus is a tad thinner, includes wireless charging, but has a smaller battery with only 3,500 mAh versus the 4,000 mAh from the ROG Phone. Both phones have dash charging and IP68 water and dust resistance. Now, the ROG Phone features what they're calling air triggers. This allows you to tap the top, left, and right edges of the phone and will automatically map fake buttons over the apps to tap in a certain position. So, for example, in PUBG Mobile, you could map the top left one to aim down sights, and the right one to shoot, and that frees your thumbs up for movement and aiming, just like as if you're using a controller, but you're just using your phone, and I think that's really cool. My only hesitation here is the positioning of the air triggers. It might get a little uncomfortable for long, extended gaming sessions, but we'll have to see. I've got large hands. Maybe if you have smaller hands, it might feel more comfortable. Now, for accessories, they have 4 major accessories for the ROG Phone, and they are especially important because they can really enhance the use of the phone for gaming in particular. The first one comes with the phone in the box. It's an additional fan that goes over the back of the phone and helps cool the overclocked processor, and then adds an additional USB-C and headphone jack to the bottom of the device so they don't get in the way of your hands. The second one is a docking station that turns your phone into a mini PC with a plethora of ports. You have 4 USB Type A, 1 USB-C, a LAN, and an HDMI port. They also include software that allows you to map the keyboard and mouse buttons to certain locations on the screen so that you can actually use the keyboard and mouse to play games. The third accessory available for the ROG Phone is a 3DS-like docking case that gives you a second screen, an additional battery life, an SD card slot, and some physical buttons to play with. Now, if you're really into streaming mobile games, this will allow you to see the stream and the Twitch chat at the same time as actually playing the mobile game. So this might be the best ultimate setup for mobile game streamers, which I know there are several thousand of them in the world. So this is probably the phone to get for those people. Now, the fourth accessory attaches controllers on either side, and this is fantastic for those of you that love tactile controls. And this also makes the ROG Phone a direct competitor to the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Galaxy S9 has the Dex Docking Station. This is very similar to the docking station that the ROG Phone has. Now, it won't come with gaming software to use the keyboard and mouse in games, and it doesn't have as many ports, but you can use your phone kind of like a laptop touchpad to control the mouse, which I think that's pretty cool. I don't think that many people are going to use either of the PC-like docking stations, but it's cool that they're there. If they're going to be at a desk with a monitor and keyboard and mouse, they're probably going to use a laptop or a gaming console on a TV, for example. Not to say you can't use your phone. Mobile gaming has gone quite far. You look at games like PUBG and Fortnite, they're very good on mobile. Almost as good as the PC equivalent. So maybe there will be some people doing it, but I think the market is still pretty small. So let's talk displays. The Galaxy S9 Plus is known for its infinity display. How does the ROG phone stack up? The Galaxy S9 Plus has a QHD Plus display. It's an OLED panel. It's super bright. It's super color accurate, but it only has a 60 Hz refresh rate, while the ROG phone has a 90 Hz refresh rate with a 1 millisecond response time, and that is going to make using apps so much better. Now the ROG phone has a lower resolution at 2160 by 1080. This means that the S9 Plus display will show quite a bit more detail, but you have to be really close and paying attention to notice it. Ultimately, both phones have excellent displays. Personally, I would much rather have a 90 Hz OLED panel than having a higher resolution 60 Hz panel, but that's just me. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the display's 90 Hz increased smoothness will not be visible to YouTube viewers because the YouTube only allows for a maximum of 60 frames per second video. So if you see comparison videos showing movement between the two phones, you just can't see it with the camera. You really have to see this phone in person. I can tell you from using the Razer phone that increased refresh rate does make a massive difference, and it's immediately noticeable to anyone paying attention and looking for that increased smoothness. Now, as far as performance goes, both phones have an Adreno 630 GPU and a Snapdragon 845 processor, unless of course you get the international version of the S9 Plus. Now, the international version comes with the Exynos 9810, and it is a fantastic processor. Now, you're not gonna really notice a performance in day-to-day use between any of these phones. That tiny 5% overclocked processor in the ROG phone will not make much of a difference at all. That said, the ROG phone claims that it is able to maintain a higher clock speed for 5 times longer before it gets thermally throttled because of those vents and the vapor chamber coolings. Maybe for certain games it'll make a difference, and maybe for rendering 4K video it could also make a difference. It's hard to say. Overall, you're not going to be disappointed by the S9 Plus's performance. All that said, I'm super interested to see how the ROG phone compares to the S9 Plus in a speed test. In theory, it could be the new speed test king, but we'll have to see. Now, as far as battery life, the S9 Plus again has a 3500 mAh, while the ROG phone has a 4000 mAh battery. Now, the S9 Plus has a QHD Plus display, and that will drain more battery powering those additional pixels compared to the full HD Plus display of the ROG phone. That said, the ROG phone has the increased refresh rate, and that will drain more battery life than the 60 Hz refresh rate of the S9 Plus. Most likely the differences in the displays will cancel each other out, and the ROG phone might have slightly better battery life because of the increased battery size. But what about the cameras? Well, the S9 Plus has an excellent camera. It scored a 98 on DxOMark. It has exceptional low light and great bokeh because of its low aperture of f1.5. It also has a dual aperture lens, and as far as video recording in the S9 Plus, it is truly excellent with great stabilization, great overall detail, and fantastic autofocus that stays on target 99% of the time. The ROG phone's camera, on the other hand, we don't know that much about. It should have nearly identical specs to the Zenfone 5, which scored a 90 on DxOMark, so it is far from a slouch. It should not be terrible, but the S9 Plus is a clear winner in this category. Now, ASUS has not released the price or availability timing for the ROG phone yet. It should be sometime in the next few months. The S9 Plus costs approximately $800 depending on the carrier and location that you buy it from. I would guess that the ROG phone will be priced anywhere from $700 to $850. As far as storage goes, the S9 Plus offers 64, 128, and 250 gigs of storage with an expandable micro SD card slot. The ROG phone, on the other hand, will offer 128 gigs of onboard storage or 512 gigs of onboard storage with no expandable micro SD card slot. If you really want a lot of storage, that 512 gig option is there, which is cool, but it'll probably cost quite a bit extra. In summary, if you absolutely love gaming on your phone, the ROG phone will probably be the better choice. And that is especially true if any of those accessories really speak to you. If you're like stoked on the idea of having controllers on the sides of your phone or docking it into that 3DS-like dock station, what it comes down to, I think for most people, is going to be whether or not the design and the accessories make sense for the ROG phone for you. The S9 Plus, on the other hand, has a very general, safe design that most people can get behind. If you're like most people, you'll probably really value the increased camera quality that the S9 Plus is going to offer. So will I switch to the Asus ROG phone when it comes out? Currently, I'm rocking an S9 Plus, and what it comes down to for me, can the ROG phone record really high quality video with good audio recording, simply because my phone acts as an extra camera for me when I'm recording my YouTube videos. Everything else about the phone, in my opinion, is as good or better than the S9 Plus. What's your take on it? I'd love to hear from you guys. Post in the comments down below what you think of this new ROG phone. I'll be doing a comparison between the ROG phone and the Razer phone shortly, so keep an eye out for that. I also have some OnePlus 6 videos coming out, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Don't forget to enter the latest giveaway in the top comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Brandon out.